The Rams made a comeback, but then they fell short against the Washington Redskins and fall 27-20. They're now 1-1 this season with Gary Klein. I'm Lindsay Theory for the Los Angeles Times. Sean McVay went against his former team where he coached 7 seasons. You know, he would have loved to have won this game. Unfortunately, it was his second-year quarterback, Jared Goff, who went down in the final drive. Could have been perhaps a game-winning drive, if not a game-tying drive. Instead, it ended in an interception.
To that point, Goff had played pretty well. Not quite as efficient as he did in the previous week against the Indianapolis Colts, but he helped the Rams come back from a 13-0 deficit, a 2010 halftime deficit, kept some plays alive. But I think in this game, we saw the benefit of experience. We saw Kirk Cousins take his team down the field in the fourth quarter, throw a touchdown pass. We saw the ball come back to the Rams. Goff had an interception.
Couple of key mistakes by the Rams down the stretch, namely Robert Woods, not a guy who we typically see commit a lot of penalties, but he had 2 very costly penalties as the Rams were driving after completing a fake punt by Johnny Hekker. Comes out, plays quarterback. They get that on 4th down, and then it all kind of starts moving backwards.
This wasn't the dynamic offense completely. Again, much better opponent than the Indianapolis Colts. But we saw Todd Gurley as a receiver. We saw him make a spectacular play, hurdling a defender and reaching for the end zone. He also ran the ball pretty well at times, but we didn't see all of those receivers involved like we saw in week 1. And as they move forward, as they go to San Francisco during a short week, they're going to have to get that fixed.
On defense, Aaron Donald returned after only 3 practices because of his holdout. Now, he said in the locker room after the game that he wasn't quite ready. He took full responsibility for it, and he showed some frustration because he didn't win all of his one-on-one matchups. And, Gary, the Redskins had a nice time running against the Rams today.
I don't think Aaron Donald was completely at fault for the Redskins running right through the Rams. They've got some issues there that they're going to have to address. I think for a first game, you know, there was a play actually when the Redskins scored a touchdown where Donald was in the background. I thought he was going to pick the ball out of the air and return it to the end zone. He didn't. But for a first game, for a guy that sat out all of training camp, it seemed like he did pretty good and something to build on.
Thursday night football, that's what the Rams have next up in San Francisco, where they'll face an NFC West opponent. Now, Connor Barwin actually looked on the bright side. A lot of guys, they dread Thursday nights because it's such a quick turnaround. Now, Connor said because it's so early in the schedule, he's actually happy with the game. Their bodies right now are feeling pretty healthy, but they do have some things to work out before they head north.
They've got to make sure they've got everyone right because it is a short week. This is a week where Jared Goff is going home. Last year in the opener, he was inactive. Now he's going to be playing. And, of course, we've got the matchup between the 2 young coaches, Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan. So lots of storylines to watch in a very short week.
So once again, the Rams are 1-1 after falling to the Redskins 27-20. Keep it on the Los Angeles Times for the latest from the Rams all week long. With Gary, I'm Lindsay.